Ladies and gentlemen, now that you have your keys, and now that you've assembled your Infernal machine, you probably want to know how to use it. So what you're going to want to do is go into your quests. Pick the monster power that you feel is appropriate, and go into Act 1. You need to go into Return to New Tristram, the final quest in Act 1. Alright, now that you're in the final quest, you're going to want to go up here, next to Brother Malachi the Healer. And you can't tell, there's no glow, but you'll notice as I mouse over this door, it turns into the sword icon, meaning I can attack. Break the door and you can get into the Heretic's Abode. Once inside the Heretic's Abode, all you have to do is go into your inventory and right-click on the Infernal machine. One of 3 portals will open up randomly. These portals will lead you into the realm of chaos, the realm of discord, and the realm of turmoil. Each of these realms will have 2 uber bosses fighting side by side, vying for your destruction. Now, while which portal spawns is random, each portal actually has a static location and destination. The portal on the left will take you to the realm of discord, the portal in the center will take you to the realm of chaos, and the portal on the right will take you to the realm of turmoil. Starting on the left, you will go to the realm of discord. In the realm of discord, you will be fighting King Leoric and Magda. Each of these bosses maintains their signature moves, although Magda has been granted 1 additional ability. Magda will spawn arcane beams during the fight at random. She also maintains her shield during this fight when she goes under 25, 50, or 75% health. In this fight, I generally find it easier to take out King Leoric before taking out Magda. The big problem is because she does maintain that shield, and when she brings her shield up, she will be summoning additional adds. This is in addition to the adds that King Leoric will summon on his own. If you don't take out Leoric's adds in a timely manner, they can overrun you quickly. This can be a problem as Leoric does spawn skeletal archers as well as his standard soldiers. Leoric is a pretty big bruiser, so his attacks are fairly easy to see coming and to avoid. Once you take out Leoric, you don't have to worry about the adds anymore, and you just have to avoid Magda's arcane beams. With Leoric out of the picture, Magda's pretty much a pushover, much like she is in her original incarnation. Once you've taken out both bosses, you have a chance of getting the Writhing Spine, Part 1, for your ring.
Did you get it? I assume by the yes you did, but...
Edward Scissorhands?
The center portal will take you to the realm of chaos, and within the realm of chaos, you must fight Gom and Rakanoth. Gom and Rakanoth are not too different from their original counterparts in this fight. What I've found in this fight is that Gom's Poison Cloud is usually not too big of a deal, and you can usually move around the outside edges and get away from it if you're ranged. One of the big reasons in this fight to have more than one player is to keep these 2 apart. That way the big stink cloud that Gom puts down can usually be away from everybody else as they fight Rakanoth. I usually suggest taking out Rakanoth first, as Rakanoth can summon Soul Lashers, which can be a major problem for you if they start to overwhelm you. Now Gom still summons his little puddles of goo, but they're not nearly as big of a deal as the Soul Lashers. Much like the fight with Leoric and Magda, you really want to try and focus on the adds as they come out. If you let them overrun you, then you're going to be in for a bad time. But the good news is that once Rakanoth is out of the picture, Gom, much like Magda, is pretty much a pushover, as long as you can handle yourself inside of his cloud if you're melee. Now, if you're ranged, not too big of a deal, as your tanks or melee can keep him in one spot, and you usually don't have to worry too much. This fight in general really has no surprises to throw at you. If you can handle either one of these bosses by themselves, you should be able to handle them here with a group setting. Clearing out this set of bosses gives you a chance at the Devil's Fang, Part 2 of your Hellfire Ring. Only 1 part remains. The final portal, the portal on the right, will take you to the realm of turmoil. In the Realm of Turmoil, you'll be fighting the duo of the Siegebreaker Assault Beast and Zoltan Kuhl. Now this grouping can be a little perilous, as you have Siegebreaker, which is an excellent close-range melee monster, and Zoltan Kuhl, a master of range as well as debuffs. One of the best things you can do for yourself in this fight is to find a way to separate Siegebreaker from Zoltan Kuhl. You usually want to be far enough away that the Siegebreaker is not going to charge into the range that are taking out Kuhl. You want to take out Zoltan Kuhl first, as he is the most dangerous of the duo. Siegebreaker has no major surprises to throw at you, while Zoltan Kuhl will constantly be putting down his time warp bubbles and dropping the ceiling on you. As long as Siegebreaker is far enough away, you can usually deal with this by itself. Now keep in mind, Zoltan Kuhl still has his fireballs, and these fireballs can do a massive amount of damage if you're not paying attention. This is another reason to keep them separated, as whoever's keeping Siegebreaker distracted can take a lot of damage if Zoltan Kuhl gets close to him. It is not easy to keep them apart at times, as Zoltan Kuhl loves to teleport around the arena. Much like the other combinations though, once the first one is down, the second one is very easy to deal with. Siegebreaker has nothing new that you have to worry about. The only thing that really makes Siegebreaker a problem at this point is the fact that he comes with the reflect damage effects. As long as you can heal through that effects, you'll have no problem taking him down and getting your chance at winning the Vengeful Eye. Now, on some of these fights, I talked about having more than one person, and it's very obvious that you're going to want to have more than one person, as dealing with two bosses solo is not advised. It's very difficult to deal with all the mechanics by yourself. Not only that, but farming for keys and farming for Hellfire Ring pieces is far more efficient when you have a group. A group of 4 is, of course, the most efficient, but at the minimum, you're going to want 3. With 3 people, you can farm keys, and if each of you gets 3 keys and each of you gets 1 machine, you can open up all 3 portals in one game. Alternatively, if someone gets 2 machines and someone else gets 1, you can still use those. It's up to you and your group what you deem fair for opening up the portals. Just keep in mind that in one game, only 3 can be opened, and each realm can only be opened once in that game. This also means as all 3 of you are farming within one portal, each of you has a chance to get pieces. So this really speeds up your farming process for getting the rings and getting the devices. When doing any of these bosses, I would suggest having at least one melee that can be somewhat tanky, either by having a lot of life on hit or a lot of armor and resistances, whatever you need to do, simply because you're going to want to keep one of the bosses distracted while everybody else focuses on the second boss to kill it. You really don't want to split your DPS in these fights, simply because these bosses still have enrage timers, and dealing with the additional health and damage of uber bosses is bad enough without having the enrage happen and doing even more damage. That's not to say that you couldn't survive through them, as I have seen Siegebreaker enrage and was able to deal with it by simply having more life regeneration than his area of effect damage did. Now that you've farmed the uber bosses and you've gotten your items to make your ring, you're going to want to craft it. And of course, first you need to get the pattern. So I'm going to go into Act 2. It really doesn't matter where I go. I can actually go into the very beginning of Act 2. I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And once in Act 2, you're going to want to talk to Squirt the Peddler, the same one that you got Wirt's cowbell from. Under Miscellaneous, you'll see that she has a design for the Hellfire Ring. This is going to set you back 2 million gold. Now, here's the good news. You only have to buy this pattern once. So only a one-time cost of 2 million, and then you can start making rings as long as you have the pieces. Now this pattern goes over to Covetous Shin rather than Heretic. So we're going to open up Covetous's inventory here. I'm going to right-click. And now you'll see he has a new ring pattern. Now that one book gives you all 4 of these patterns. You can choose between the Ring of Intelligence, the Ring of Strength, the Ring of Vitality, or the Ring of Dexterity. Now what you'll notice is that each of these rings has the exact same stats on them. They all give 35% experience, they all have a chance to launch the explosive ball of Hellfire, and they have 4 random properties. The difference, of course, is the primary stat. You get between 170 and 200 of any one stat of your choosing. Now I want to make a character with dexterity, so I'm going to go ahead and get a ring for him, since it's got a bonus to experience that will benefit him the most. And as you can see, it takes you 1 of each of the 3 items that you got from the Uber bosses and 50,000 gold. So for every ring that you want to make, it's going to cost you 50,000, which is a very small price to pay for a ring of this quality. Here we go, my first ring. You can see you got minimum damage, got quite a bit of dexterity, 253, got 83 vital, 55 resist all, and of course a socket. That's nice to see. So that turned out to be a fairly decent roll. Not the best, but I'd say it's good enough for what I want. Now you notice it goes from 170 to, I'll just check this out real quick. You'll notice it goes to 170 to 200 dexterity, but you'll notice that this ring has 253, so it rolled high on dexterity, and it went past the limit. Now, the reason for that is you'll notice that I got a vital roll as well that was not terribly high, 83. So more than likely, I got a combination roll that gave me additional dexterity. So you can break the limits on these rings with a good roll. Alright, so that's just one ring. If I get one more spine, I can make another ring of my choosing. Obviously, you have one for every single primary stat, int, strength, dex, but of course vitality is there as well if you want to have a ring that's fairly well rounded. Maybe you don't want to have to make more than one and you want one for all characters, or perhaps you're making something with a high vitality build. It's all your choice. Each one of these rings will give you fairly decent stats. Alright, that's the Hellfire Ring, and hopefully you've found this useful for farming your own. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm KageKaze. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time.